So does anyone else feel like we exist in a desolate void, waiting simply for the mere seconds to pass as we monotonously trudge through life's disappointments, desperately searching and hoping for the next glimmer of happiness to punctuate this otherwise bleak existence? Oh hey, a new Wilds trailer coming soon? Ah, say no more! Hello, my fellow hunters then, and welcome to What You Ask. How could you ask something you already know? Wilds, my friends, and the incoming, fingers crossed, hopefully very likely, new reveals that also, fingers crossed, hopefully maybe likely, will involve some second beta/demo action. What am I talking about? What do I mean? Well, let's get into it. Though, you likely already know the primary point I'm going to say here, and it's the Game Awards, which I'm inherently hoping will go a little something like this. Okay, I'm not really sure the implications entirely of that imagery, but I think it kind of works. If we ignore the extra kind of new gameplay that we got from a newer version of the build earlier in the week from the press event, well, we've not had any actual literally new reveals since the Oil Well trailer, since trailer 5, and that happened like 2 months ago at this point. Oh, I guess, actually, no, that's not fair. I guess we should probably count, you know, the official gameplay tease reveal of Rathian. Haha! Okay, I shouldn't make fun. It is still nice seeing her in her 6th gen glory, and I think Rathian, like Rathalos, is kind of that monster that, even though you might be a bit bored of seeing them, it would still feel really weird if they weren't there, and I'm never going to be against that, especially as Rathian in particular is an excellent example of Monster Hunter combat design in every game she's in. Her attacks are varied, fair, and punishing, and I think she's a really good early little bit of learning curvature for newer players, which is always important to have. She's reliable in that sense. In any case, the Game Awards. We are finally there, and it marks a year since Wilds was teaser revealed, which is just insane to me because where the hell is the year gone? Life moves too fast, and our mortality is frail. In any case, yes, less than a week away on Friday, we will have it, and I think it is like 99.9% likely that it's time for Trailer 6, especially given this is the last major global all-eyes-on-it event of not just this year, but pretty much until the game releases next February. So to miss it would be kind of a huge misstep, and I just don't see it happening, especially with the pace of news cycle they said they wanted to commit to, and with the 2-month-ish gap we've had, if again you don't count the recent stuff, which wasn't anything literally new, it was just more, you know, actual gameplay detail-y context of things we technically kinda knew about, have sort of seen. In any case, what this trailer might reveal is the big question. And I think the easiest slam dunk prediction to get some free prediction points, which are redeemable at all your theory crafting stores locally and worldwide, is the next locale, which is almost certainly going to be the ice locale. And I am convinced there is going to be an ice locale because A, every monster in a game has an ice locale, and B, it follows the elemental pattern that we are getting. Along with that, then, we have the reveal of the ice mystery switch axe monster, which makes perfect sense. It has all the hallmarks of belonging to an icy map, and it's covered in what looks to be chatacabra skin, and chatacabra would work on an icy, watery map as another kind of monster that can be there, which you kind of want monsters on multiple maps, like doshaguma is in the Scarlet Forest. We then likely will get some more apexy action with the apex of that map, and then I would posit sort of one extra monster. They kind of tend to be doing them in trios, so the switch axe, the apex, and something else kind of around the place, like they did with Oil Well. Then we kind of think about some more story implications, maybe some more arkveldy stuff, maybe actually seeing it in a hunt setting, some real gameplay as opposed to just teasy and cinematic things. That would be quite fun. At the press event, multiple of them said they did actually get to the arkveld encounter, or at least the first time you meet him, and that's when they had to stop playing, and obviously they weren't allowed to record it or show it, but supposedly based on them playing for 5-6 hours, that implies you're actually going to get to arkveld fairly quickly in the grand scheme of things, and I'm really interested in how that plays out. But presuming that arkveld isn't the centerpiece of Wilds, and they have said that the story and the structure, they want it to focus on the hunters, not just flagship monster doing things, I could totally believe that arkveld's importance is actually less than we believe, and it might lead to something, well, much deeper, or some sort of thread throughout the game, and then eventually endgame. And endgame itself still certainly needs some sort of tease to it, though that might be too early for that. But I think the general structure of Ice Map, 3 monsters to go with it, 2 of which will be the Apex and the Switch Axe, a bit of actual arkveld gameplay, some more story context, and then I think the announcement of either Open Beta 2 if they feel they need to do more testing, or what I think is perhaps more likely at this state, just straight up the Wilds demo that will just exist and last until the release of the game, and it makes sense for that to kind of happen either sort of late December or kind of early January, maybe middle January at the latest. I think letting it have a good month before the actual release, so setting it for towards the end of January could certainly work, but I don't think there's any way that they don't let everyone have another go to both A, see for themselves all of the really cool, meaningful improvements they have made based on our feedback, and to double check again that the performance has actually been addressed in all the ways that the people at the event said it had, and that Capcom themselves has said that they're actually pushing for. And I think in that regard, it's just going to be a very, very solid showcasing that's going to leave us very, very excited with something to look forward to. The big sort of mystery for me, though, is are we going to start the returning monster train? Now, we've had little bits, the Rathian, the early Rathalos, your congalala, your yian, but in the grand scheme of things, it's been very thin on the ground for returning monsters. I still totally believe we're going to get Nerscylla based on, the entire theory video with evidence that I made about getting Nerscylla, but past that, it's anyone's guess. Especially if they want to bring some favourites that haven't necessarily shown up a lot. So I don't think we're going to get swarmed with flagships like, here's Tigrex, Nagakuga, Brachydios, sadly, and Zinogre, and yada yada yada. I think we might get some more subtler monsters. I still feel like Lagiacrest has to be, but I feel like it also would have been on the Flooded Forest, and a good way to generate hype, so I am a little bit concerned there. I hope Mizutsune does actually get to have a break as much as I like him. It's, I think, time. And at that point, what are you kind of left with if you're going to draw from not necessarily the prime returning monsters that are mostly the flagships and take some more kind of fringy stuff? Perhaps something like Giginox to pull out the hat that people generally like but hasn't been seen in a while, but certainly would be cool. I don't think we're going to end up with things like Rajang or your Devil Joe or even Basil, as much as they like to apparently throw him in everything now. So I'm really, really curious what the returning roster is going to look like. I think it might end up being the kind of most varied we've had in a while, with a lot of strong, almost fringe contenders getting a chance to shine. And that's the thing I really want to see. Either that, or there's just not going to be a lot of returning monsters, and we get a more Tri-esque experience where the majority is new. But you'd think with how much work Wilds has taken, and they stressed at the event that it's a huge undertaking for the team to have got it working in the kind of pseudo-open worldy, seamlessy way that they have, so a lot of returning monsters to make development time a little bit easier and less stress on creating just new ones does kind of make sense. So really, I feel like we do need some teases of returnings. So I could totally believe a trailer where it goes through all the already revealed maps and like plops a couple couple of returning monsters and gameplay into the mix so we can actually see it happen and get excited. Then again, there might just be a dedicated returning monster trailer. I'm sure we will touch on endgamey stuff closer to the time, maybe in January or early February, but for now, I think we are very much almost certain to get something very poignant and punchy at Gamescom, because it is the last big deal event for it to happen. The final, no seriously, you need to care and think about Wilds. And with that in mind, yeah, I am very, very much looking forward to. So that's my kind of thoughts on it as it currently stands, and I would love to know yours too. What do you think will be revealed, and contrastly, what would you like to be revealed? For now then, I hope you have enjoyed my ramblings that are here to barely disguise my desperate need for anything Wilds and ease my ever-growing hunger for more. Like, if you did indeed enjoy this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, and consider supporting the future of this channel on Patreon down below. Until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.